Bada bing, bada boom. We are back. Thank you for joining us today. It's another lovely Tuesday afternoon, and we're playing this crazy old game we like to call Dungeons and Dragons. The name of this specific campaign is Volohin, Winds of War. The name of this episode, episode 15, is Siren's Song. It is being dungeon mastered by the ever awesome Asa Kinney over in the corner over there. And when we last left off, our characters were. We had found the dwarven commander guy named Darun, who we were looking for. Turns out that Eigner already knew the dude, and they, seem to have a pretty good relationship. They're getting along. They remember each other well. Um, Egner's kind of a celebrity, by the way. I just found this out in maybe the past hour or so. It's pretty cool. And the real exciting thing that happened is that as we were walking forward throughout the forest, we got fired upon by crossbows being wielded by sneaky ass drow that were hiding in the trees. So, yeah, gotta deal with that shit. And with that being said, Asa, take it away.
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of backtracking
Okay.
because earlier Alex was having internet problems and we didn't get to hear about Leah's or let her do her group therapy. So I would like to let her do that real fast.
All right. Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been interesting for Leah because she takes on these missions for herself to help her feel like she's putting good into the world and reversing whatever monstrous things she's done in the past. And this one in particular, she has a vested interest in because she heard Ellie's story from Ellie about her brother in that week before they went into the Feywild, and she got really invested in that. And Leah was the one who offered to do the dream spell and see if they could contact him. So she got invested that way. And then, of course, now it turns out that there's a very good chance that Ren is under the influence, like the mental or emotional influence of someone else, and we cannot let that stand. That is bad. So she's very much invested in this quest, but at the same time, she left Eridu behind, and so part of her attention it keeps drifting that direction and hoping that he'll be okay. And like his arguments for staying behind were very good, and he claims that being temporarily blind has been able to like help him focus on keeping ticks in, which is good. But she's now so much more paranoid than she was before about losing him again, because she only had 5 days with him the first time, and then she thought she lost him. And so she basically had sworn to herself that she was going to make every moment that she could count. And then now she's left him. So she's very torn and doesn't have the focus that she probably should have. Especially since now she kind of feels like she needs to fill the role of both Halifax and Eridu in specific ways. Like she sees that Ellie has some kind of like teenage hormone feelings for Rory and Eigner, and she can just like see that thing kind of exploding in slow motion from a distance, but she doesn't really know how to navigate relationships for other people. That was Eridu's job. He always was like meddling in other people's relationships, usually hers back in the day. But she's seen him do that with this party as well, so she knows that's kind of a role he's taken on. She does not feel equipped for that. And she doesn't feel very equipped for like being the objective observer who can like step in and solve problems the way that Halifax seems to have set himself up for that. So she's feeling kind of inadequate, and but she does not really trust Rory. And especially since she's seen that Ellie, who's usually a little more suspicious, has just kind of like gone all in on this. So what I was going to have her do at first opportunity was take Ellie aside and say, I need you to try and be a little more objective here, and maybe even use your detect thoughts thing that you've used a couple other times in the past, just to make sure that everything is as he says it is, and so on. But because my internet crept out, I couldn't do that. So that's where I was.
All right.
So, because your internet crapped out and you couldn't do that, but I feel like as a plot point, it is an interesting conversation that could lead to more conversations. Let's have that happen really fast as a quick retrospect.
Okay. So this was like what she was kind of wanting to do was like immediate. Yeah.
And we're back at the beginning of this session.
Before they head out from camp, just after everyone's gotten off of their long rests and doing their things, she will kind of approach Ellie and say, can I talk to you in private for a moment before we head out?
Okay.
And then lead them out of earshot of Rory. She doesn't really care if Eigner overhears it.
Oh, he
Which
will.
He probably will.
Oh, he will.
Yes.
Not much stopping that.
Yeah. Yeah. But she'll say to Ellie, I know that this is very serendipitous, and we are lucky to have Rory here to lead us to the next step to finding your brother. That's wonderful. But as much as I want to trust Rory, as much as I feel responsible, at least in part, for saving him from the sap thing in the city, I don't think we should go into this just blithely assuming that he is here to help us. He has admitted that he is bordering on treason to take an elf and two humans into dwarven territory, and his reasoning is slight at best. I was hoping that you would be willing to do that thing that you do where you touch on somebody else's mind and see what their motives are.
Well, I guess I can understand why it would look unusual, but, we saved his life. I think it makes sense that he wants to help us, and if it's just taking us to his friends, then it's not really a big task.
I suppose.
Is, if I try and read his mind, he will know. And if he knows, then that could lose any chance of him helping us anyway.
Very well. Just try and keep your wits about you. And don't be swayed by she's conscious of the fact that Eigner is probably listening in and does not want to outright say, don't be swayed by pretty muscles. And she doesn't actually say that, though.
Who's pretty muscles?
Yeah, exactly. Who's pretty muscles?
Turn around and Agnes in the background just kind of trying to show that
I've got pretty muscles.
Agner's just doing this randomly,
I think we should go that way, or whatever it is that they do.
You get your tickets to the gun show.
or that way.
Um,
She'll just like raise her eyebrows, like, I hope you know what I'm saying without actually me saying it.
Ellie like kind of cocks her head and like seemingly like waiting for you to finish what it is because she's not letting on that she kind of knows what you're talking about.
Well, then it's just gonna
Like-
awkwardly trail away.
I was swayed by. I don't know what you're talking about, Leah.
Flattery.
I
Switching tactics.
think she'll like blushes a little bit, and then say, "I don't know what you're talking about." With like, he's just a very helpful person. You know, he's clearly a skilled fighter and knows what he's doing in battle and is. Yeah, I think he's fine. Like her voice getting like higher and higher at the end of this sentence. Like she's not thought about the fact that I can probably hear either, though. She's just kind of like, she's not like trying to hide it for that reason. Like, yeah, I just think he's trustworthy. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Going redder and redder, and then
This will be the time that Rory has, broken down camp and has suggested that it's time for them to get to the fort. And then
All right.
we'll fast forward back into the future, where the young dwarf who is toting the large gun has taken a bolt to the side, but so close that it could have been aimed for Darun, could have been aimed for him. Either way, he is on the ground, grasping his side, bleeding out very profusely. And Leah and Eigner have noticed the drow in the trees above them.
Eigner will let out a very loud and audible "Fuck! Not this again."
And then with that, there are a few more crossbow shots. They're very pointed at the target, so I can roll.
Will we go into initiative after these crossbow shots?
Yes, we will, and actually this is already in the initiative because they're going first.
Great.
We've rolled our initiatives, we got our initiative counts happening. It's going to be some awesomeness. I'm sure no one is going to die.
Great.
Okay. Who wants to take a shot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Are you talking to us?
Yep.
Shit. I'll get hit.
I got him. I got them all aimed. All right.
Cool.
Ellie and Leah are both going to get hit.
Nice.
For a lot.
okay.
Well, actually, hold on. You're going to get hit for 12 damage each, and then I want you each to make a Constitution saving throw.
Classic.
Fun.
Oh, I don't want to use that dice. Team. Letting me down.
12, you said?
12. Yep.
4, 6. Okay. Fine. 20 not natural.
Okay.
Constitution. Oh, that's not the best. 11.
Okay. So that's going to be Leah is going to take another 25 poison damage, and
Ow!
Ellie is going to take half that.
Ellie's going to take half that.
Yeah. So
Oof.
13 poison damage.
12, you round down.
You round down?
You round down. Yeah.
I've always rounded up.
I feel like
All
we've
right.
had this conversation so many times on the stream.
I know. Everyone has different ways of doing it. And I'm always a little bit more brutal in the few combats that I put out there. So,
Sure.
all right, 12 damage, 12 poison damage. And then it is Ellie's turn. Oh, also Darun got hit. And also Darun gets to make a saving throw. And also Darun gets to laugh as he pulls the crossbow out of him. And, like,
The bolt.
the cross bolt. And, like,
Mhm.
smells it. And goes, "Poison, amateurs." And throws it to the ground.
I like Darun.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a dwarf, and you're coming at him with poison arrows.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Yeah, no, it's Ellie's turn.
Okay, so so they're up in the trees. How close are they to each other?
They are split up
On opposite sides.
yeah,
Right.
and you can see two of them because those are kind of the ones that were in mid-move that Ellie and Leah had noticed. But there are at least 4 crossbow bolts that were shot, and
Right, okay.
but you can see two of them. They are across from each other, so they're probably about 20 feet on either side of you, and they are 40 feet away from each other.
Okay. I will. Oh my god, I don't have like anything that is good for this. She doesn't have I've got like nothing ranged. This is terrible. Why did I not prepare for anything ranged? Alright, well I guess I have a crossbow.
Alright.
So, I guess so. So I'm gonna stand, like, I'm gonna try and move to stand, even though they're on all sides. I'm gonna be trying to cover Darun, and like, I brought Ein with us, right? Ein's here too.
I mean, we haven't had him be part of any of this, but there's no good reason why he couldn't have been.
Yeah, I think we settled with the thing of if I don't mention that I leave him behind specifically, he's there.
He's there,
because he's like
yeah.
a class feature, so it kind of otherwise I'm
Right.
like screwing myself over every time. Okay, so with my action, I'm gonna. Oh no, but it's not a magic crossbow, so I can always find more. Shit. Right, I'm gonna cast grease at one of the trees and try and knock one of them out of the tree.
All right.
Okay,
Creative thinking.
that is a good thought. Yeah.
So it's a dex save on the guy.
All right.
One of the guys in the tree.
What's the DC?
18.
He got a 19 in total. So that branch like just gets slick black in grease, and his footing starts to slip under him, and he jumps and is able to grab onto another branch and swing himself to another tree branch a few feet away.
I instruct Ein to cover one side of Darun, so there's cover hopefully against a few of them, and then I'm going to stand on the other side of him to try and take any hits that are going towards him.
Now Darun is like trying to peek past you. Well, now I can't see him.
Well, you need to stay safe. I need you.
Rory is like,
I need you too, Rory. You come and get in here too.
I'm just kind of left out here in the open. That's not even his voice. Rory doesn't say
Now I
anything
feel
because
bad.
apparently I don't have his accent down. Rory has just been strucken with silence for the past, 20 minutes. Just since he saw Darun, he's just like, after all of his bluster, it turns out he doesn't actually know him.
Right.
Other way around, Darun doesn't know Rory. Alright, next up on the agenda is, I did get everyone, right? Did I get yours, Kyle?
Mine's 11, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
right before Leah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Got a couple of NPC things to roll, so go
Okay.
ahead and get your turn ready, Kyle.
I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to do.
And actually, these things are just fine because by proxy of the way that your Ellie has situated herself, she's kind of has both Darun and the young dwarf covered, and the young dwarf is like holding his side and trying to get his gun off his shoulder, and is starting to try to get it loaded. And Darun kneels down and starts to inspect his wound.
Okay.
And now
So
it's Eigner's turn.
so it's now it's my turn. Okay, so I was just checking the ruling. I don't think I'm gonna break any rules by doing what I'm doing, but it is a little tiny bit unusual, I suppose. So first thing I'm gonna do is pop my action surge. So I have 2 actions at this current time. I'm going to move up immediately because I definitely heard and probably smelled some of the blood coming out of the wound of the young dwarf that got hit. So I'm going
Stole
to.
my thing.
Stole your thunder?
Yeah, it's alright. Go ahead, though.
Shit.
You got to-
Well, I'm just going to run up to him really quick and put a hand out on him and then do a little bit of a cure wounds kind of dealio on him real quick. Let's see. I can be a little generous and make it a second level casting.
Okay.
Eigner's feeling generous. You have hit points. You have hit points. Everyone check under.
Yes, hit
Everyone
points.
check under your chairs. They're hit points. You know.
Man, you could have given some to Leah.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Eventually, this will
Eventually.
Mm.
The young master dwarf may have 10 of his hit points back.
Cool.
That is that's pretty chill.
Wonderful to hear.
So I did my move. I did my first action, and now my second action, while I'm kind of using my body over the young dwarf to like hopefully shield him from any further harm at the moment. Are you listening, Asa?
I'm totally listening. You're
Okay,
shielding
cool.
him from any further harm.
Shielding him from any further harm, and then I'm going to use my second action, and I'm going to ready the casting of a spell.
Okay.
So the trigger that will let me use my readied casting of Dimension Door is the next crossbow shot. Once the next crossbow shot happens, after the shot is resolved, then I'm going to use my hearing, my super hearing, to try and triangulate the exact position in space that the crossbow shot came from. And then I'm going to use my reaction to cast Dimension Door to teleport myself immediately above where that crossbow shot happened. And then Eigner's just going to fall and tackle and grab and restrain and then just totally fuck up the drow that shot the crossbow. That's the plan.
Cool.
That's the plan. All right.
All right.
Cool.
And now it is Leah's turn.
Eigner messed up my goodwill gesture.
Yep. That's what he tends to do. He fucked it up with Ellie. Stole Ellie's thunder earlier. You're gonna
We
steal
Yeah.
call
your
him
thunder
Eigner Thunder Stealer.
Well, part of the problem is that, practically speaking, Leah should use her healing staff on herself at the moment because she is not doing well. But she doesn't really think like that very much. She would much rather use it on someone else, but Eigner just did that. So now I guess she could use it on herself, but I'm not 100% sure that she would. So she might just continue to lose hit points instead.
I'm sure she'll
Gonna
come
slow-
around to the idea of healing herself eventually.
Yeah, eventually she'll realize that that's something she could do.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I think she's going to try to, let's see, that's with one. Now they're still up in the trees near them, or they haven't moved on yet, right? The drow?
No, they're still up in the trees. Two of them are visible. Two of them were not.
Okay. That's one. I think I got rid. Yeah, I did. I got rid of the spell that I was planning on using.
Oh, no.
Funny.
Isn't that how it works?
Hmm. Well, she can't see either of them, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
She can't see the two that are hidden. She can see. There are two she can see.
Oh, there are two that she can see.
Yes.
Okay.
I hear Eric giving advice.
Oh no, it's Bethany. They're in a meeting right now, so I can't ask them to be quiet.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Okay. So instead, she's going. Oh, I don't know. She wouldn't do this. Never mind. She's not going to do that. She's just going to heal herself. But she is
Okay.
going to yell into the trees at the drow in the drow language. Stand down. Not that
Still
she
disguised as a dwarf, though, aren't you?
she is disguised as a dwarf, so it's going to be very confusing. The whole idea is she just wants to distract them and confuse them.
Okay. Why don't you roll a deception check to see how distracting and confusing she can be?
Hmm. You said deception?
Yeah.
She is not trained in that.
I figured it wouldn't be a great one for her.
Because she's full of emotions all the time.
All those emotions.
That would be a 15.
Okay.
Yes. So, and then she's healing herself with just a first level, I think, to just kind of.
All right. You hear one of the drow respond in kind, or in the same language. Who called that order? And another says, not I. And they kind of all calling off, just calling and trying to figure out who's calling the attack off. But it's allowing you to sort of triangulate where they're coming from. And they've got you in this, pattern where, every 10 feet there's a drow in like this diamond shape around you. It's a grand total of 4 of them, for sure, or at least 4 of them that have responded. Yeah. Such
Okay.
information.
Yay. So she'll hope that other people have taken note of that information because now she has no actions left, but she does have 12 hit points back. So.
Yep, and then you see the drow, not the drow, sorry, the dwarf with the daggers. He draws his daggers, and then and he's looking up into the trees as you say these things, and then he just poofs in a cloud of smoke, and cool, good for him. He crit on his attack roll. So.
Oh, he gets to be all badass now?
Well, I'm just mostly seeing if he actually killed somebody.
Word.
But this is like, he's been waiting this whole thing to be badass, but hasn't had a chance to because he wasn't able to kill a unicorn.
A unicorn.
Yeah, so then you see a kind of a poof of smoke, and then a drow falls from the tree and lands on his back. And he's got 2 slashes across his chest that are bleeding, but he's the drow is still like kind of pushing himself up and going for his own swords as he does so. But this drow, not dead, injured, is laying prone on the ground, and the rogue dwarf is standing where he was, where that drow was formerly at, and that makes it Rory's turn. Rory actually doesn't really have any equipment with him because he never did have any weapons on him he didn't have any weapons on him when he left the city.
Wow.
Because he was partying.
He was what?
Because he was partying.
Exactly. So, realizing what a disadvantage he's in, he just charges forward towards one of the trees with the drow that he can see and grabs the base of the tree and starts to just shake it madly.
Wow, kind of useless, huh? It seems like Rory's not really that cool right now. I mean, like, there's...
Eigner can't see what he's doing.
Well,
I don't know, man. That tree is shaking pretty well. So,
Ellie just shouts, "Yes, Rory, good work! What great thinking! You're so great in battle.
doing
Such a tactician."
yeah, you're doing so great, Rory.
and then
So
Eigner
proud of you.
hears a thud as one of the other drows falls from this tree, losing his footing.
Oh, wow.
Probably the same tree Ellie cast grease on. Maybe he was like, getting back to his spot and misjudged his footing, and then the tree started shaking, and then he just plummeted to the ground. And
Made my grief spell not a waste. Thank you.
Eigner hears the twang of yet another crossbow.
Yes. Yes.
This one is going for... Oh, dang. Okay. So, Ellie and Ein have got Darun guarded, but a crossbow bolt just sneaks right past them anyway, and tags him for a good healthy amount of pain. Oh, just that one. And it is now Ellie's turn.
Nope, nope, no, no,
Oh no, it's now
no.
Agner's turn to react.
Yeah. I use my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I listen in and first try and triangulate the exact position from where the crossbow came from. Bolt came from.
Upper tree to your left.
Okay, if it's an exact enough thing that he's able to figure out, then he casts Dimension Door and he teleports himself directly above where that crossbow bolt came from, and he drops and hopefully, spreads his arms out, hopefully grabs onto whatever drow, and he doesn't care if he tumbles, because homie can heal himself, but he's taking this drow down with him.
All right, yeah, you and the drow both go to the ground together.
I love it.
And you both just slam hard into the earth, and you each take a point of damage.
Really?
Apparently it was super hard, but I rolled a 1.
Really? Okay.
Really, I rolled a 1.
All right. So I guess
I
he
mean,
wasn't that far up in the tree then.
I can't change the damage I rolled.
I know, but it's like with
Landed in some
falling
very
damage.
pushy shrubbery.
I just thought they were like farther up than that. It's
Shrubbery.
like
They're maybe 15 feet. You don't really need to be much further than that in the air.
God, I feel like I really wasted Dimension Door then. Whatever, it was cool, and I've got this drow in my fucking grip now, dude.
Yeah, make that grapple check.
All right, come on, old blue. Oh, killing it with a 27.
Awesome. Yeah, he was able to get a 25 to break away, so you've got him.
Ooh, got him in a headlock, actually. Eigner's going full WWF. That's right, I said WWF, not WWE, because I was watching that shit back when they were WWF.
Oh man, I know. I was
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was raised on wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
we are talking about how the young dwarf has got his pistol loaded, and he's raising it up at the last section of tree where there might have been a drow, and he fires it. This loud crash of this loud crash of thunder fills the forest, and the tree the tree limb just splinters and blows into pieces and falls to the ground. But he was taking an aim at what he hoped or guessed where a drow would be, and didn't seem to make contact with anything aside from the tree itself. And that now makes it, Darun's turn. But
Wait, wasn't it supposed to be my turn?
Yeah.
Did
oh yeah, it was Ellie's turn.
Yeah,
You're right.
it was. Sorry, I rudely interrupted.
I forgot that you interrupted. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
Ellie's turn. I started going with the initiative after that. So Ellie, go. That'll give me time to figure out what Darun's doing.
Okay, so remind me, who... So, when someone's grappled, is there any, advantages for someone else attacking that grappled person?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think it's just
Um,
they have disadvantage when attacking somebody else.
Okay, and is anyone currently prone?
There are 2 drow prone, one that Rory had shaken from the tree. Yeah, it's actually... and then one that the other dwarf had knocked from the tree.
Okay, well, I'm obviously going to go to the one that Rory's dealing with, because, me and Rory. So I'm going to, instruct Ein to protect the guy. I can't remember his name, he's just gone.
Darun.
At all costs. Very simple. And then I'm going to, run over to the guy on the floor with Rory, and I'm going to stab.
All right. He is prone, so you
Fine.
have advantage.
Sunblade. Where is it? Oh, drop is to everywhere. Okay. 28 to hit.
Oh yeah, that'll hit.
Um, okay, so it's a D8. 7, 14 damage.
All
Radiant
right.
damage. Radiant damage. So if it's a drow, that might be an issue.
No.
Um,
Only thing they have
and then
anything to is poison.
okay, and then I'm gonna roll again for my second attack, which is a 24.
To hit? Oh yeah, that hits.
Yeah.
Um,
Go
tell
on,
me
sorry.
what you're doing and give me a little bit of flavor, because I might make a judgment call on the radiant thing on my own.
Oh, okay.
By 20.
So I run over to the guy lying down on the floor, and I mean, I'll probably activate this off like I've been going earlier. And then I'm just gonna like jab down into him, like on the floor. I'm not very good at giving flavor to attack.
That's okay. I'm just wondering,
It's like me and
what's
Rory
the
double
source of the
teaming him.
radiant damage?
It's her
It's a sunblade, so
lightsaber,
it's-
dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
because that's right. It's the sword that's all shiny. Okay.
Yeah.
I
It's a
forgot
fucking
about that.
lightsaber, yeah.
All right. So yeah, as you charge at this drow with this shining sword, it's like rearing back, putting its forearm over its eyes. The forest is this is still part of the forest that's dark for the most part, with a few slivers of light, but it's still pretty. It's not like broad daylight in here. So this is like this radiant sword is like sunlight in this thing's face as you just begin to slash down on it.
And then the second attack was
That was a hit.
12. It was a hit, yeah, and
Yeah.
12 damage. What I'm gonna do, I can jolt through it, which I need to just quickly check what the 4d6. I feel like I've not been rolling 4d6 for this so far. Plus 10 force damage.
So it was 10, and then what was the original damage on that?
12.
12.
12
okay,
radiant
so-
damage, 10 force damage. Yeah.
Okay. Dang. Just going crazy on that guy. Yeah, as he's like kind of falling from the tree, and you just come up and just start stabbing your blade into him. He's doing his best to like kind of just move and deflect or dodge the blows. He's unarmed at the moment. His swords are in his sheath, and his crossbow's been knocked off from his land. And then and as he's like taking 2 good stabs, he's finally able to get his swords and sling them out at you. That's going to be probably a couple of misses.
19.
So 14 and the second one's going to hit. 14 and 24.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have sneak attack on you because you see him right there in front of you. So you take
Yeah.
6 points of piercing damage and then roll a Constitution saving throw.
I'd also like to pass Rory my light hammer, if that's okay. It's not like light hammer. It's a light hammer,
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
not
not
a
a-
non-heavy hammer.
Not a light hammer, but a light hammer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh no. No, what am I doing?
It's okay, I've got lesser restoration.
13.
13 is
13.
the
Oh.
total. That's a fail. So it's 12, 14, 26 poison damage.
It's fine. Got loads of health.
Yeah, you're okay.
We do have lots of health.
And then on that, you have the young dwarf is able to get his gun loaded and take a shot into the bushes or into the tree, and Daroon has he's talking to the dwarf and he's like telling him to just sit back and bite down on something. This is gonna hurt. And then he yanks the crossbow bolt out of the dwarf's side. and grabs a piece of cloth and shoves them in the wound and is trying to like stop the bleeding. He's not bleeding as badly as maybe he would have been because Eigner's already given him some kickstart to healing his wounds. Uh, and speaking of Eigner, you have dropped down on this drow, and it's now like squirming beneath you and attempting to get a little bit of space between you and it, attempting to break the grapple.
Okay, can I have been saying shit this whole time, even though it's not my turn?
Sure, yeah, of course.
Who sent you? Who sent you? He's just like fucking screaming it in this dude's face.
And this dude says nothing, just grits his teeth, little white teeth showing beneath his black lips as he's struggling to get under Eigner's weight and retrieve his short sword from his belt. He does finally get one of the blades free and is able to like kind of give a little bit of a slash, but it just sort of slides the flat of the blade against Eigner's armor, not actually doing any penetration, and it is Eigner's turn.
All right. Just thinking about, I don't know, like just fucking cap this fool or like try and keep him for questioning or something, or yeah, I don't know. It's kind of well. I do have speak with dead, so I could just like kill the dude and then talk to him afterward. It's
I mean,
easy.
that's a possibility.
It's easy. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. Um. Well, I think Eigner is going to cast a spell. If I have them already all wrapped up, would you give me advantage on a touch spell attack against him?
Yeah.
Cool. I am going to cast Inflict Wounds at a
Okay.
3rd level, is what I'm going to do.
All right.
Wow, I've been rolling nothing but 19s. You too, Alex? You've been
Dang.
rolling 19s like crazy? Oh, yeah. So that's a 27 to hit him there.
Oh yeah. It's definitely gonna
And
hit.
excellent. Then I gotta find all my D10s. Even though I don't want to use the Rick and Morty one, I'm going to use the Rick and Morty one. Here goes nothing. Alright. 6, 7. This is not a good roll. 7, 8. Oh my god, that is pathetic, dude. That's a total of 16 necrotic damage.
All right.
God, that was pathetic. I'm not too upset though. And I'm just gonna keep that fool wrapped up, and I'm gonna keep shouting in his face. Who sent you? Who do you work for?
Yeah,
Who sent you?
he grits his teeth against the pain, and just kind of tries to squirm out, make an opposing grapple check.
Bring it, son.
Rolled a nat 20, so that's 26.
I got way lower than that, but
All right.
if he's squirming out and causing any kind of attack of opportunity, I will strike him. I will do so.
He is not. He is kind of like grappling with you as you're doing your Batman voice. He tried to make that attack with his sword and like ended up just kind of flinging his arm sideways, and he lets go of his sword and he gets his fingers just up into your armpits and gets his thumbs up right where there's an open space in your armor. Is just able to shove and put a lot of pressure on that part of your arm. And it just makes it really uncomfortable for you to be able to keep pinning him down. And then he gets his knee up right in your groin, and is just putting pressure on the inside of your thigh and flips you over.
Great.
And then kind of rushes to get to a standing position, drawing his last sword and is like kind of got his back against the tree that he fell from.
All right, and then I'll draw Talon's blade, and then we'll have a good old standoff.
Good old slashy slash.
Good old
All right.
slashy slash standoff.
Another crossbow bolt just zings down from the trees. Uh, this one also tags Darun, and Ellie is able to, or Leah is able to follow its path, and she sees the last drow in a tree there as he's setting, or she doesn't really matter, as it's setting the last another bolt into its crossbow. What are you gonna do?
Okay, so it is my turn?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Well, I was gonna have her ask Darun if he needed more healing, and then ask him if they should have the drow alive. But of course, now she's actually pinpointed that last drow, so that might change her plans. She can still ask him those questions, or I can even have her having asked them before this.
Yeah, that crossbow. Drune's wearing a full, like a big breastplate,
Mm-hmm.
but that particular crossbow bolt, it has like cut along the side of his neck pretty deep, and you can see the flesh along the side of it blackening with this poison.
Oof.
Okay, well then if that happened right in front of her eyes, then she's absolutely going to use her staff. She's only used one charge. I think I'm going to have her do a slightly bigger one.
You can do lesser restoration off of that shit, dude?
I can also do that, but I don't like it. It's hard to, because we've been taking poison damage, but we haven't been actually poisoned, so I don't know
Oh, for sure.
if lesser restoration is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a poison damage, not a poison effect.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I was kind of guessing. So, but I think I'll do a second level.
Okay.
And roll that. That is 16 health back
Oh, good.
to Darun. And Leah will like point out where the last drow is, and still ask, should we keep them alive?
Darun kind of husks. After that, I say we kill them all.
All right. Well, now she's not going to listen to him because she feels like we got to be able to question somebody. So maybe she'll just say, maybe one, just one, for questioning.
With that, the rogue dwarf comes jumping down from the tree onto the drow that he knocked prone, and just stabs both of his daggers into that drow. And that one's able to get its short swords drawn, and it takes 2 slashes at him, and then within a second these two are sort of going at a short sword v dagger parry parry combat thing, sort of dancing around the tree. Rory, grabbing the hammer that Ellie had given him, charges up to the other drow that she's got there on the ground, and brings the hammer down and just right into this thing's face, and that's lights out for him. And
Oh, yay, Rory!
all right, I can do something good.
So proud of you.
Yeah, you did so good.
And with that declaration of how good he did, it is Ellie's turn.
Okay. Okay. So who and what are still up?
There is a drow in a tree. There is a drow doing a flurry of attacks against the rogue dwarf, and then there is a drow that is got its back up against a tree, ready to kind of square off against Eigner.
Okay. Can I run up behind the drow that's in the fight with the dwarf with the daggers, and I just want to try and stab him through the back.
Yeah, you can do that. So you'll have advantage on the attack roll because he's.
16 plus 12.
That's a hit.
So it's a 14 radiant damage on the first one. Two 14s plus 12, 26.
That's a hit. You get a huge plus to hit. Dang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, plus 12.
Yeah, that's insane.
And so then it's another 14 radiant damage, and I'm gonna do arcane dart through this as well.
All right.
So that's 11 force damage.
All right. This is the one that was going up against the rogue dwarf, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he's been squaring off against this dwarf, and he's already fallen from a tree and taken 2 daggers, 2 stabs from these daggers. So you've got to come up and just slashing at his back, and he's sort of turned, and he's got one sword pointed at each of you, attempting to sort of try to just figure out how to defend against combatants on both sides. And he's looking like he's breathing hard, he's bleeding, and with that we hear another crack of gunfire, and the tree right next to the 3 of you, Ellie, rogue dwarf, and another drow, just explodes as a chunk of wood gets blasted away from it. And that drow kind of startles back and takes a swing at each of you and misses both. And with that, it is going to be Daroon's turn. He picks up his shield and his halberd, and he stalks forward towards the closest drow, which is the one that's got its back up against the tree near Eigner. And he lunges his halberd forward, and it's going to hit. And it's going to do a decent amount of damage. So while that's happening, he stabs him with his halberd and then takes his shield and just slams it into him. And that's going to make it Egner's turn.
That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna shield bash him.
Well, now he's pinned up against a tree and he's been shield bashed. So,
All right.
Do your shield bash.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna strike him with the sword first. Duh.
Okay.
First attack. Oh my god! I rolled another 19. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? So that's gonna be 29 against AC. That is a solid 8 slashing damage right there. And then I'm gonna go again. That one, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the bonus action to make it a fainting attack, so that will also increase the damage on this one. So then I've got 18 against his AC.
That's a hit, yeah.
Oh my god, I'm rolling like shite damage though. So that's gonna be a 9 slashing damage. And then I already used my bonus action to do fainting attack, so I actually can't shield bash him. But yeah, I'll just slash him, and then keep saying the same old song and dance thing that I've been saying. Who do you work for?
Yeah, he's he's sort of pinned up against the tree now, trying to get away, and you bring your sword down and just clean cut his arm off, the one that's not wielding his sword, and he's trying to pin freeze you. Bring your sword up, screaming, "Who do you work for?" and then give it another slash. This is going to be a killing blow, so tell me how this happens.
Pretty brutally, actually. He just kind of aims a little high, like he meant to go for the chest, but he aimed a little too high, and he just slices right through the entire front part of the guy's throat. Super gruesome. It's like Kill Bill levels of blood spewing everywhere. Yeah, just really a little extra, even though it's a very tense, very high energy kind of moment. Still a little extra, very gruesome.
Yeah.
Ellie's benefit.
Blood just kind
How
of.
good I'm doing.
You're doing such a good job, Eigner.
Nope. It doesn't happen.
There's a spray of blood in both Eigner and Daroon's face, as Eigner, is so proud of the good job he's doing, but no one, being Ellie, seems to not seems to be paying attention. Jeroen, gives you a shoulder clap because he's too busy holding his weapons to actually clap you on the shoulder. He kind of gives you the old Corona tap and says,
The elbow bump.
"That was a good one. Looks like there's only one more left."
Thanks, I guess. Eigner was really shocked by the blood spraying him all over the face. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh,
So only one left, huh? Whose turn is it?
Well, is the turn for the one who is left but up in the tree to shoot somebody else. That somebody's going to be Darun. Because that somebody's been Darun this entire time.
It's
I'm
almost
still
like
there.
they want to get him or something.
I'm still in the way.
Oh, right. So he doesn't have advantage. He has normal attack. Okay. Uh, as the sort of twang of a crossbow bolt, and Ein steps forward, and the bolt just kind of pings into Ein's armor and bounces off. Poison doesn't do a whole lot against a robot, but now Ein is like standing right in front of Darun, blocking the line from the drow in the trees, and it is Leah's turn.
Okay. Got a little bit of noise going on over here, but I'll try to. Let's see, Leah. So there's one left. It's still in the tree.
Yep.
And it's the only one alive. Everyone else. Is dead?
There's two left. Darun misspoke, being that he doesn't know there's one in the tree.
Oh well, except for Leah pointed out the one in the tree. But whatever, fine.
He was busy shield bashing and killing someone. He wasn't paying attention. There's the one in the tree that hasn't gotten in the fray. No one's actually hurt him yet. And then there is the other one that's squaring off with Ellie and Rogue guy. These characters all have names, just nobody asks them.
Okay, so I guess Leah is going to try and get the one in the tree in some way, because she still thinks that one of them should be alive so we can figure out what's going on. I mean, her preference is for everyone to be alive because she's still a pacifist at heart despite everything. But you know what? Best case scenario in this case is one. So I think she is going to use, let's see. I don't, okay,
It's
she's gonna
Eigner's got speak with dead. It's okay. I know that's
okay,
backwards.
but Leah doesn't care so much about that. She likes to preserve life.
Just playing.
Neither knows nor cares.
Yeah, it's true. She doesn't know either. But even if she did, she would disapprove of that as well. So, yeah. I'm gonna have her. No, I'm gonna have her use Mind Spike on the last one instead, because that way, even if it disappears, she'll be able to find it again.
The one in the tree?
Yeah, the one in the tree.
Okay. All right, cool.
If it's within 60 feet.
Yes.
Okay. So the save is 18.
Wisdom?
Yes, wisdom.
It fails.
Cool.
I mean, I rolled well, but I didn't roll an 18, and they have no bonus to wisdom.
Okay. And so it's gonna take a whole bunch of damage. Should get the rest of my dice out. Okay, it's going to take an additional. It's going to take 25 psychic damage.
Dang, okay.
Yeah, that one kind of packs a punch. Probably a little more than she wanted, but mostly what she really wanted was to be able to. She will know its location for up to an hour, as long as we're on the same plane.
Yeah, so she's feeling that level of frustration and this like these people need to survive so we can figure out what's going on and no one's listening to me and damn it I'm so fucking frustrated at everyone for just not paying attention and like
Yeah.
lets that emotion out with this spike and you guys hear this woman's scream from the top of the trees.
And in fact, she will then yell again in Drow, surrender, and I'll keep you alive.
And you get in response in Drow, we do not know the meaning of the word.
She may, in fact, just yell back, "Oh, fuck you, stupid Drow." What's the? I'm sure there's like a technical term for like the way of life where we do not surrender, which
This
she
is
knows
the
all.
way.
What's that?
This is the way.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever the technical term is, she just exasperatedly yells about it because she knows what it is because she grew up with that stupid shit.
Yeah, it's a frustrating dogma.
Yeah. Yeah, so fuck your dogma.
Word.
Um, with that, it is Rogue's turn and Rory's turn. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Ellie while I make some rolls.
What, do my turn?
Yeah. So the rogue dwarf is stepping in and beginning to take advantage of the situation that he's got a partner on his side. He's going for a couple of shots on the drow. The drow is, swinging a blade at him, swinging one at you, sort of just again backing itself into a corner, being pressed on both sides. So go ahead and make your attacks.
Do I get advantage still?
Yes.
Oh, crit.
Nice.
Well, all right then.
Well, I'm obviously going to do Arcane Jolt on that one then, aren't I? Because, how do you do your crits, Ezra? And double it?
Roll and roll and double. Just do that. That seems pretty easy to go. All right.
Oh, it's such a bad roll. Okay.
Normal. And I get my sneak attack bonus because the reasons.
19. Right down. 9, 18. I can't select.
I know we're all just doing math over here.
Sorry. So I do 37 damage with the first attack.
All right.
Damn, that's awesome. Because my drow, the other guy crit too. And he did 47 damage. So keep going.
I roll so badly on that crit roll. It always happens. Like
Mm.
lots of 2s and 1s on my
Mm-hmm.
thing. And then 24 to hit, which I think hit last time. So.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 24 hits. And does your armor class is 18 or 19?
19.
Okay. So
13.
his attack's gonna miss you, and it's gonna hit the drow.
And 13 damage for the second attack.
Okay, so between the two of you, he gets a good blow in against the rogue, but the two of you both kind of converge and together are able to kill this drow.
Yeah. I want to high five him. I high five him.
Yeah, so he like kind of comes in and then does a throat cut, and you just do a stabby thing, and you go to high five him, and he just kind of looks at you.
I like grin on the face.
We did our job. There's no reason to praise it.
I turn around to Rory with my hand still up. Like, come on.
Rory's like charging forward with his hammer, just like ready to. And then he's like, right, good. It was good work there.
Really was good work, so you know.
Oh yeah.
What?
you
So
don't-
who's left? Because I might have Iron just attack one of them because it's not really. doing
There
anything.
is the one in the tree.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna have Iron run into the tree.
Okay, make a
Try and
strength
knock
check
him out of the tree.
or an athletics. Yeah, make him do an athletics check.
Go, I'm. Go, I'm.
I know he does have good athletics. Okay. Um. Uh. 25.
Okay. Um. Well. Yep, that's enough. Ein runs into the tree and slams into it, and the drow loses her footing and falls to the ground with a oof. Gonna roll that damage too, and then it is. Rory's already gone and high-fived you, and so it is that drow's turn.
It was a high five, Rory said.
That was his turn, yeah. He was charging forward to do an attack, and then it's like, oh, all right. And then this drow, she pushes herself up and reaches into her robe and pulls out a little red crystal, crumples it in her hands and slams it against the tree, and the tree like begins to swirl and open up, and she runs into it, and then it begins to close behind her. We've all seen this sort of way of getting around the drow have used before.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
And with that, this particular combat is over.
Okay.
I presume. Is she still on the same plane?
Yes. For a moment, you do not feel her presence, and then you do. It is like quite a ways south, like hundreds of miles south of you.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, Leah will make note of that at least.
As you look at the combatants, all of them are female.
Okay.
Well, that makes.
Eigner, sensing that everything's calmed down a bit and there's no stabbing or yelling for a hot second, he stands up. He was like rummaging around in his pack for a couple of things, and then he stands up and looks around and listens intently, and then says, "Status report."
As you listen, Rory is those of you who can see is covered in blood that's not his own. He doesn't seem touched by the combat whatsoever in any negative way. But Darun has taken at least 3 crossbow bolts plus one like sword slash, and each of the wounds is blackened along the edges and a little. This poison is a little bit stronger than perhaps Darun had expected because it is affecting him. The kid has that one shot that he took has really kind of put it out of him. It was in a good spot in his side where there's a whole lot of pain whenever he moves and breathes. The rogue's wound seemed, he took a little bit of a slash. It seems pretty minor. It's across his arm and he's already taken to bandaging it. It doesn't seem like you guys were the targets of this attack, since very few of the attacks actually went in your direction.
Yeah, Ellie's like comes over, kind of clutching the few like wounds she has though, because she took quite a few.
Oh yeah.
Points of damage in that. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's okay. It's just little blood. It's fine.
Darun's voice coming a little bit raspy as he's holding his neck. I took a few good hits myself, and I don't think my voice will be the same for a little while.
Eigner will go over to Darun and place a hand on him. He's not going to lay on hands. He's going to cure wounds.
Okay.
And fuck it. I'll make it a 2nd level cast. I like Darun enough. That's going to be 10 hit points back for Darun. And when Eigner said status report, he was really kind of wondering if someone would tell him about the drow that crushed the thing and, teleported away.
I was just waiting for an opportunity for Leah to say something. She will say the fourth drow that was further down in the trees managed to escape using some kind of crystal and teleporting through a tree. I have a vague idea of where she is because I made a connection there, and she appears to be now 100 miles or so to the south of us.
Eigner starts just being all Eignery and frustrated and just starts saying, fuck, God, fuck, of course they did. Of course. Yeah, yeah, no, it's so easy. Just jump into a tree. Ah, it always goes like this. And then he actually turns away and goes toward the drow that he slashed across the throat. Goes up to that drow's body, and he turns his attention back to his pack, and he's rummaging around trying to find a couple of things.
While he's doing that, Leah's yelling, "You could have left some of them alive!"
I've got it. I've got it taken care of. No worry. I'm taking care of it right now. Don't worry. So Eigner rummages around in his pack, and he takes out these little, I don't know, they look like little like blocks, kind of like roundish, squarish blocks, and he gives them a little sniff test, and he realizes that it's like some compacted like incense, and then he takes out a flint as well, and a knife, and he places a couple of the blocks of the incense on the floor in front of him, and he goes, cat, 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 gets a bunch of sparks flying on them, and picking them up with a special little dish that he has, the incense starts to smoke and starts to make actually a quite pleasing smell. And Eigner drinks in the smell with his nose, and you see that his eyes actually have rolled back in his head, so you're seeing mostly the whites of his eyes, and he starts grumbling in undercommon under his breath, and he's casting a spell.
Alright.
He's casting Speak with Dead.
Alright.
Yeah, we can let that be like a cliffhanger moment, or you can add something else in there, but yeah, definitely not going to ask any questions of the corpse yet.
So as you're doing this, the smoke is emanating and kind of flowing over the face of the drow, and then the smoke begins to funnel up its nose as though she is breathing, and then a husky voice spoken through a vocal cord that has been severed by a throat slicing. What do you want?
Eigner,
That's where we'll end.
yeah.
Unless you want to say something first.
Eigner just looks over to the rest of the group with a very just weird look on his face. And yeah, that's where I want to end it.
It is not like this at all.
I mean, we could do an interrogation in 2 minutes, but I think that would be pushing too hard, too fast. Just
Well,
to try to get something
the
done.
thing is that I get 5 questions, and I want to like figure them out, or like ask other people like what they want to ask, And obviously, I'll let you read over the full text of the spell before we actually do this thing. So cool. That is the end of the session. I think it's a creepy little nice way to end it. Nice and creepy. And hey, thanks for joining us so much. We are so glad that we get to continue our schedule of bringing this show to you every Tuesday afternoon. And we hope you join us next Tuesday afternoon. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have a lovely day.
Bye.